All right, welcome back, 8th graders. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. We're going to jump right into our Foundations of Language unit, and today is all about giving and following complex oral instructions. Now, you might be thinking, instructions? Come on, I know how to tell people what to do, and I know how to listen. But the honest truth, clear communication and getting your words in the right sequence are literally the things that prevent total chaos in our everyday lives. Seriously, whether you realize it or not, every single day you're either giving directions to someone or you're trying to figure out how to follow the directions they gave you. So getting this right is a total master skill. Grab your notebooks, get focused, and let's dive into it. So here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with why following instructions matters, then how to give clear oral instructions and listening and repeating steps. After that, we'll look at some real-world instruction disasters, go over your weekly application challenge, and wrap up with the godly learner philosophy. All right, section 1, why following instructions matters. 1 Corinthians 14:40 tells us, "Let all things be done decently and in order." You know, as 8th graders, you're stepping into a season of life with way more responsibilities, a lot more independence, and just more complex stuff to handle on a daily basis. Your ability to give and follow instructions isn't just some boring academic language skill, it actually reflects God's character. God is a God of order, right? Not of confusion or chaos. So when we communicate clearly, when we respect the process, and when we handle our tasks decently and in order, we're actively honoring that divine standard. Think about it like a giant domino effect that happens when we ignore that order. Whether you're cooking dinner, building a model, playing sports, or working on a group project for school, following steps in the right sequence really matters. If you miss just one step or mix up the sequence, you trigger a chain reaction. Mistakes happen. Time is completely wasted because you have to go back and redo everything. Safety risks go way up, especially in places like a science lab or a wood shop. And ultimately, teamwork and leadership just break down. You can't lead a team if your instructions are a jumbled mess, and you sure can't be a reliable teammate if you don't follow the plan. Moving on to section 2, giving clear oral instructions. When it's your turn to be in charge, explaining steps to a friend, a sibling, or a classmate, your words have to be organized. So here are your 4 rules for success. Number 1, use numbered steps. Say, step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. It builds a mental map for the other person. Number 2, keep your sentences short and clear. Number 3, speak slowly enough for the listener to actually process the information. Let me model that for you. If I speak at a measured pace, you have time to visualize what I am saying. Make sense? And finally, number 4, avoid cramming multiple actions into one sentence. Don't say, go to the closet and get the broom, but on your way, grab the dustpan and also make sure you shut the door. It's just too much. Break it down. Okay, section 3, listening and repeating steps. Now, when you're on the receiving end of instructions, your brain needs to be on high alert for specific action words. Words like add, turn, wait, or check. These are basically the engines driving the instruction. If you miss the action word, you miss the entire point of the step. But you also have to pay super close attention to the exact sequence they're spoken in. A lot of tasks in life simply have to be done in a highly specific order, so your ears need to catch those sequence markers, where it's like first, then, and finally. So the real secret here is this 3-step listening loop. First, you listen for those key action words and the sequence. Second, and this is a habit of highly wise and successful people, you repeat the instructions back to the speaker. So if your mom tells you to do 3 chores, look at her and say, okay, so you want me to take out the trash, then feed the dog, and then start the dishwasher, right? And third, allow the speaker to confirm or correct you. Doing this catches misunderstandings before you even take action, which saves everybody time and frustration. All right, section 4, real-world instruction disasters. Let's look at example number 1. We'll call this the baking disaster. Imagine you're following a recipe. The instruction clearly says add flour, then sugar, then eggs. But let's say you kind of tune out the sequence and you just dump the eggs into the bowl first. What happens? You get a total baking disaster with the absolute wrong texture. You end up with this rubbery, flat, weird-tasting cake. In baking, sequence is the literal difference between a delicious dessert and a culinary tragedy. Example number 2, the sports play. Picture this. You're in the middle of a tense game, and your coach yells out, pass to the left, then sprint to the goal. But you're tired, maybe a little distracted, and you only catch the second half. You just hear sprint to the goal. So you take off running down the field without the ball, totally ignoring your teammate to your left. You just missed the entire play because you didn't catch the sequence of that complex instruction. And finally, example number 3, the science lab. Now look, missing a sports play is frustrating, and a ruined cake is sad. But in the science lab, ignoring instructions becomes genuinely dangerous. If your teacher instructs you to mix lab solutions in an exact order to avoid a reaction, and you just decide to skip a step or mix them backward, you can trigger a dangerous chemical reaction. This perfectly highlights why following steps in the right order isn't just about getting a good grade on a quiz. It's about protecting yourself and the people around you. Next up, Section 5, your weekly application challenge. So you've got 5 awesome options to practice your skills at home this week. Number 1, you can write out clear step-by-step oral instructions for making your absolute favorite snack. Number 2 is a fun partner activity. One of you gives instructions for drawing a shape, and the other has to draw it without seeing the original. Number 3, write a quick paragraph describing a time you misunderstood multi-step instructions and what the consequence was. Number 4, create a highly specific, sequenced checklist for cleaning your bedroom. Or number 5, play a timed instruction game with your family. Whichever you choose, I highly encourage you to actively practice this. Don't just leave this knowledge sitting here in the classroom. And finally, Section 6, the Godly Learner Philosophy. Let's look really closely at Romans chapter 8, verses 6 and 7. It says, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." When we allow our minds to be scattered, chaotic, and resistant to order, we're basically inviting frustration and conflict right into our lives. But when we are spiritually minded, when we center our minds on God's truth, on wisdom, and on careful, intentional actions, it leads to true life and peace. Following instructions and communicating clearly is a very real, very practical way of promoting that peace every single day. And this brings us directly to our core philosophy here at HeroesMart Academy. We believe deeply that education intertwined with biblical morality is completely essential. Why? Because education without morality can actually hurt. We don't just want you to be smart. Intelligence by itself is simply a tool. Knowledge and intelligence should help you make wise, God-honoring choices, rather than just making you more capable of doing whatever you want in the world. We want you to passionately pursue academic excellence, like mastering these complex oral instructions while keeping your mind entirely centered on God, truth, wisdom, and making righteous choices. So I want to leave you with this final, super important question to think about. Will you use your communication skills to create order, promote peace, and honor God today? Remember, every single time you open your mouth to give directions and every time you use your ears to listen, you have a choice. I'm challenging you, 8th graders. Step up, be precise, be clear, and let all things be done decently and in order. Have a fantastic rest of your week practicing these skills, and I'll see you next time.